Goddamn, Zara.
All right, we're live.
Oh my god. Oh.
I'm just gonna put. There's the Facebook page. I don't know how to give you the link to the actual stream, but it's like.
Here, I do this, and then I go. I see your thing here. I can share it. I can share it on my thing. We're live.
We are live with Cameron from Addalemon, a band.
Not a Pokemon.
Not a Pokemon. Alright, I'm playing your music.
Are we sure it's not a Pokemon? There's not a Pokemon called Addalemon?
Dude, it could be. For all we know, it could be like next gen, like secret. You know, we don't know.
800 Pokemon, and they're all combinations of syllables, and like, got the rhythm.
Yeah?
Have you got the rhythm?
Oh, I got the rhythm.
Alright, first question, alright? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Describe your perfect sandwich.
My perfect sandwich?
Correct.
Oh god. My perfect sandwich, honestly, it has to be toasted. Like some sort of like heat has to be on the sandwich. So like a grilled cheese is like prime. So I would go with like kind of like a hoagie roll, like toasted, probably with some Swiss cheese, some turkey, some lettuce, olives, lettuce, oil and vinegar, and some salt and pepper on that. Solid.
That sounds really fucking good.
World, turkey's what you're gonna go with?
I think turkey. I'll mix it up. I'll do like a grilled cheese with like some turkey in it, which is kind of good. But like a Subway style sandwich, you know, like turkey, all that shit.
You could have like some steak bits and some bacon on it.
Oh, for sure, it could have some of that. I would put some of that in there.
Yeah, and this turkey, it's like proper Thanksgiving style. It's juicy. It's made the Alton Brown way.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's my ideal sandwich. Everything's got to be great about it.
All right,
Exactly.
so obviously your band is like a punk rock band. So what are some of your influences with your music?
Well, one that is like all of us, we can all agree on because not everyone's here, is Blink-182 is one of our favorites. They're all their records are really fucking good. We're all kind of debatable about the Matt Skiba era, where it's like kind of like the whole Tom DeLonge leaving. But if we just go back, like everything previous from Neighborhoods, like it's all really fucking good. We like that, like Green Day, Sum 41. I'm like heavily influenced by like some hardcore punk and like more obscure punk bands.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's awesome.
Like Black Flag, Alkaline Trio, Joyce Manor, Against Me, Strung Out. The whole like Fat Records scene is really like one of my favorite scenes out there.
I feel like you should go to the guy who records Alkaline Trio to re-record your EP. That's
Dude,
what
I
thought
honestly
listening to it, and I was like, let's look up who did those records, and it's Matt Allison. I looked up his day rate. He's $350 a day.
that's not bad. I mean, he's
not
he's in
bad at
Chicago,
all.
right?
He's in Chicago.
Yeah, he's done a lot. He's done like the Lawrence Arms records. I think he's done a Smoking Popes record too. All Chicago bands. Oh fuck yeah!
You like the Menzingers?
Yeah, I love the Menzingers.
You guys reminded me of the Menzingers.
Yeah, I really liked. I didn't get really into them until when they were on Epitaph, like their earlier record. I mean, I only heard about them when they were on Epitaph, but then I started going back, and their earlier records are really fucking good too. But
Was Epitaph when they came out with On the Impossible Past?
yeah, they did On the Impossible Past, and then they did that one album where they're all sitting on the cover. I forget the name of it. Oh, Rented World. Yeah, Rented World. And then that
Matt Allison ones.
Yeah. Those are both really fucking good. And then they did that new one that just came out. That new one is pretty good too. I love that record. It was good. I got it on vinyl when it like first came out. I was stoked on it.
What are your feelings about vinyl?
Oh, dude, I work in a record store, so
Sweet.
I love vinyl cassettes. I'm not big on CDs. When I was younger, I was like really big on CDs and collecting CDs. But then like years later, I realized like these have like no value. They're just like cheap plastic fucking things that can scratch easily.
Vinyl's better because you can see the album art like super big and like display it.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
and it's And it's also like there's more of a collectible value from it when it's like hand numbered or colored or like limited pressing of like 100 of them. It's like there's like a more collectible-ness to it, so it gives you an incentive to go out and buy the artist's record.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
That's awesome. I have a few vinyls that I collected.
The best vinyl like you've connected with as a vinyl is, like, not the best album you have on vinyl, but like the most you've connected with the vinyl because it was vinyl.
Like an album that I got really connected to because it was on vinyl.
Or just an experience with vinyl records. Like, how does vinyl really like expand the artistic palette?
For me, like when I first got, it's a funny story how I got a record player. We had done this band the band had been in a band for like 2-3 years now, and I was still in high school, and I had a buddy named Matt, and we were in like biology class one day, and we were talking about my band. And he's like asking if I had a record player. I'm well, no, I don't have one. And he's like, oh, bro, how can you be in a band and you don't even have a record player? Like, what the fuck's up with that? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I just have CDs. He's like, dude, you need a record player. I'm gonna bring you one. I'm like, okay, dude, bring me a record player. Sure enough, next day he comes to school in a fucking brown paper bag with a like vintage record player. I'm like, dude, I can't take this from you. I'm all, this looks hella nice. He's like, no, bro, take it. You're gonna get more use out of it than I did. So I took it home and I set it up. And I knew my dad had some like 45s in his closet, so I went and grabbed out these 45s as like Kiss and like the Scorpions, and I just put those on. And just the fact of like the nostalgia of putting it on just like totally blew my mind.
The nostalgia, but like you weren't around in the 80s.
No, I wasn't. But like I had known like bands were putting out on vinyl, and I was like what's the big hype about vinyl? So like I started looking into it more, and once I got this record player, I would go to my local record store and I would like get like hecka cheap records of bands I've never even heard of. Like there's a record store where I'm from called Dimple Records, and they have a section where it's just like dollar 7-inches, and I would go in there and I would look at all the 7-inches and like the obscure band names that I had no idea of. I would just pick it up because like the album art looked cool, or like it was on colored vinyl. I'm like, oh, this is sick. And I go home and I play it, and I'd be like, wow, this band's like amazing. And they're like, and I look them up online, there'd be nothing about them because they were just so small. So it kind of got me interested in like bands that weren't as big, you know. So eventually, like, I got to the point where I started getting rid of CDs and I was just starting collecting vinyl. And some of the records that I just like spin all the time are like my favorite records, because just the way it sounds and like the way it comes out, it's so much different than a CD. And the fact that when you put that record needle on and that you can't skip tracks like you can on a CD, it like forces you to listen to the whole album, and you like appreciate the album as a whole more than just like the singles and the songs you like.
I was thinking about that today, how like CDs were the first format where you could skip songs. And I think that was the first format where the album really became important. Not because like you were forced into it, but because you had the choice of skipping it, and therefore its artistic validity as an experience was like something you had to choose to assign it. And that's kind of a cool thing, in my opinion. I don't know. This is something.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the whole fact that you can it's like a limitation almost of not being able to like skip songs. It just makes it that much more of an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. I was wondering, does the record store you work at have a dollar section?
Yeah, we do. We have a dollar section. We have a $2 section. We have it up to like $5 basically. We have a $5 bin.
I wonder what the economics of that are like. Because I also feel like the dollar section's important. When I first got a record, that's exactly what's cool about it.
Yeah, I mean,
you get all this stuff cheap, and then does that work for the record stores?
Yeah, I mean, it works. Because when you're buying records from people, you'll find records that aren't worth that much online, but when you go and listen to them, some of these records that are not worth that much money are just amazing records. Like, there's this one record I picked up the other day when I was working, and it was like a pan flute record, and like the cover art was this like Indian dude like clutching his pan flute, and I don't know why, I just found it like so intriguing. I put it on, and it was actually really good. Like Not really into pan flute music, but sounded really good.
That's another thing that's fun about record stores, I've noticed, is that the dollar section's usually full of like instrumental music that they bill as easy listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like yeah, it's that same dude, but I think it's a different record. But it's that name looks hella familiar.
Easy
Yeah.
listening?
Yeah,
That's the genre.
yeah, easy listening. That's
Oh.
hecka funny.
The record I find the most
I
in the
think I
dollar
found it.
section is anything by Henry Mancini and his orchestra. So I got the whole collection. It's great. Because you can find it everywhere for 50 cents.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's what makes vinyl so much more accessible to people is it's cheap. You know, you can't sit there and buy like an album used on iTunes. But you can go to like a record store or like a thrift store and they'll have like a dollar bin of records, and you could find. So you'd even probably find like a Kiss record or like a Iron Maiden record hella cheap in there, and you go home and play it, and you're just totally blown away.
So my question was, how does that work out for the record stores? Like, what are the economics of it?
I mean, it really depends because when you buy the records, you know, depending on how much you get the lot of records for, I mean, you really got to figure out how much you're gonna make off of them altogether. So like. Once you get in the industry and you've worked it enough and you've seen what comes in and how like conditions and stuff and like what sells, you kind of get a grasp for what really is like worth money and then what's not. So like when someone will come in and they'll bring in like Led Zeppelin, they'll bring in like the Beatles, and they'll bring in like AC/DC, it'll be worth more money because more people are like drawn towards that music and they want that vintage classic stuff. These people that come in like kind of like I would say like the hipster kind of people. I mean, there's like different types of people who like collect vinyl for different reasons or get into it for different reasons. But there's people that are like kind of like more mainstream who just want like the bigger name people. They'll come in and they'll pay like the top dollar prices for that like original pressing of like Highway to Hell or like Back in Black. But these dollar records just we get them and sometimes they're just not in the best of shape, or they're not in the like the most popular, or like they've made a lot of them. Like one for example that's like I always see is I think it's Saturday Night Fever.
Oh,
the
yeah,
one
I
with
see that one all the time.
You know, they made a ton of that record. Like they pressed so many copies of that record. So I mean, it's like it's a consistent $5 record, you know, but it's a good soundtrack and people still will buy it.
True.
But yeah, I mean, we make good money off of like used records. I mean, we mainly specialize in selling used vinyl records, so we do tons of sales on the dollar vinyl and like the $5 vinyl, and it all adds up at the end of the day when people come in.
So it's not something that could supplement the whole business. Like you couldn't have a store that's just $1 to $3 records.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a good business. Like you could make decent money off it, but you need those like $15 to like $20 records, and you need like those gem records. Like we had at one point, I had brought in a box set of a band called Face to Face that was limited pressing of like 100 copies, and I paid like 150 for it, but we were selling it for like 300, like 350 online. And you need those like bigger type records to make some money too, not just that's a good one, that one's in the box set. But yeah, you need those bigger type records too, not only just the $1 to $5 ones.
All right. So like the business model is like these things generate some revenue. They aren't the main thing of it. The main focus of it is selling the high dollar stuff. But because you have all this other stuff in circulation, you might as well.
Yeah, because I mean, it depends on like the time of the year too. Because some people will come in and they just paid off like Christmas bills, you know, from just buying a bunch of Christmas gifts. So I mean, they're not going to sit there and buy our like newest like higher price records. They're going to go in for like the dollar stuff. And we've had people come in that are consistent. They spend $20 in the dollar bin, and they come out with some really good stuff for their collection. A lot of like what really is popular in our dollar and like $5 section is like producers who come in for beats. They'll come in and they'll just buy like $20 worth of records to find some beats or samples on. And I mean, there's some good stuff that people find. I've heard some great stuff come out of the records people have bought.
I don't doubt it at all. I mean, I guess
that looks like a bomb sandwich.
the thing I'm thinking about is one of the best parts of owning a record player is all the cheap records you can buy. And I'm just wondering, like, is that in danger? Is that unlimited resource or a thing that's ever gonna like run out?
I don't think it's ever gonna run out, because like right now, if you look at like CD sales are declining every year, and vinyl sales are only increasing year after year after year. So I don't think vinyl is gonna go anywhere anytime soon. I think it's a marketing tool that definitely, like, for generations and generations to come, like, it's gonna still be there. I don't think it's ever completely gonna go away.
Good.
But I mean, like, it just, yeah, I mean, you can even see right there, like the height of popularity. I mean, it's just going, there's no collectibleness, like anything like appeal to the CD, you know. And even like cars nowadays, they're not having CD players put in, so it's just killing the market even more.
That's my record player.
Oh, nice.
Thought I'd post that. It's like a portable one.
Yeah, those are cool. Take those.
So you planning on taking Addalemon onto vinyl at any point?
I looked into it. It's there's a pressing plant that's like an hour and a half away from where we're from called Pirate Press, and they press a lot of the Fat Record bands vinyl. And I've gotten a couple quotes from them. And
is it expensive or what?
It's not. It really depends, because it costs a lot more to make it costs a lot more to get less records. So like if you want to do like 300 like 7 inches, you would have to sell them for like $7 or $8 to like at least make your money back and a little bit of profit. And the problem is like you have 300 fans who are going to go out there and buy your record on vinyl. So it's kind of like a situation where we've wanted to do vinyl and stuff for a long time, but we just don't have a big enough fan base to where we know we would sell them all. Yeah. That's why we did like the cassettes, because we did that Broken album and we did it on cassette. And I just made one master cassette copy, and then I just burned like duped other ones, kind of like what they did back in the 80s, like NoFX. They had a thing go on where
I felt like NoFX was one of your influences.
Yeah, I met Fat Mike a few times. I even
was he in person?
The first time I met Fat Mike was in San Francisco. I was seeing Strung Out with Master Intruder at the DNA Lounge, and I knew that Fat Records was based in San Francisco, and I knew Fat Mike lived in San Francisco, but like I didn't know how like he was like going to shows. So I'm sitting there getting a picture with the lead singer from Strung Out, and Fat Mike comes up from behind and hops in the picture, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing here? and was like talking to him about like punk and stuff. And I think at the time I was like 17, 16. And he's like, aren't you a little young to be at a punk show? I'm like, what? When did like punk have an age? So like, yeah, he was talking hella shit about being young. But then it was funny. He got on his bike and then like rode off with his like pink sparkle helmet. It was hella funny. And then he ended up coming back later that night and watching Strung Out play, which is pretty cool. And then the second time I met him was I went to Fat Records store opening, and it was the day NoFX put out their new record, First Ditch Effort. And they were having a whole big celebration, and I handed him my demo and stuff, and he said, oh, you know, because he had a band called, what was it called? False Alarm, that he was in back in the day. So he was like, we called our record, I didn't call our record False Alarm because of the band, we just called it because that's what the name was. But he was all commented on like that was his old band and stuff. But who knows if they actually listened to it? They never called us. So, but still pretty cool. I handed Fat Mike my demo.
I bet he listened to it. I bet he did.
I mean, it'd be hella cool if he did. I mean, I'm hella bummed.
Cassette, how easy do you think it is for him to find a cassette player in this day and age? Do you think he just has one on hand for listening to demos?
You don't?
Well, when I gave him not the broken one, the first one, the False Alarm one. We had a CD copy of that, so I gave him that one. But I haven't really sent. When we did that one record, I didn't really send a lot out because it didn't end up coming out the way we all wanted it to sound, and like some stuff happened with that lineup of the band at the time, so the band kind of went on like hiatus. But this one now, I mean, we sat there and put a bunch of labels on like an email list and emailed them all our thing, and we got a few back that they liked what we were doing. They just wanted better recordings and us to play more shows, so it kind of gave us an incentive to just be more active.
Yeah, it seems like about a fair assessment. I feel like you guys clearly sound good, but you're not out there as much as you could be, and you could be better recorded.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes back to when like we always talk about it, like we want to go into a studio and we're gonna try and do something end of this year, beginning of next year, getting some of our songs more professionally recorded. But our thing is we didn't want to spend a bunch of money recording all our songs and making an album because we don't have a fan base, and we didn't really want to put an album out without like having a fan base. So we kind of wanted to like play some shows, maybe record like a couple singles, and then do something. But it's just a lot of money to go and put down on an album, and then like you're not gonna like sell any copies of it, or like anyone's gonna like pay attention to it. So we kind of want to get the ball rolling first. Get some
I feel like there's a lot of value just having the songs be out there in a high quality form, you know? Like it can take a while for that to see dividends, but as the word of mouth spreads around, then people want to be like, oh, you got to go to the shows really to see it because they're like in another state.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're working on it. I mean, it's just a matter of like scheduling and time, and we're just trying to write. Because I mean, the songs we had written on that first CD are completely different than what we are doing now. I mean, not completely different, but you can tell the songwriting game has totally changed from the first one to the second one.
I liked Broke a lot. That was a charming EP/demo.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, that was all recorded in my room. Just literally cranked guitars and basses and drums.
That rules. That's the way to go. Black metal style.
Yeah,
True
exactly.
cult.
And some EQ.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we like try to keep with everything we record and everything we do is just raw. We don't like to be overly too produced. We kind of like to feel like the essence of like it's live. Kind of like the first MC5 record. That's when you hear it, like when they do kick out the jams, it's like you can tell it's like live in a big like theater hall.
Yeah, but it's got the crispies.
Yeah, it does have the crispies.
Gotta get the crispies.
We gotta get the crispies. We're working on it. We're gonna hopefully get something out soon, but for right now, we just are trying to get as many shows as we can and get on a label, get someone just backing us, and just play as much shows as we can.
Have you ever heard of recording studios that record a band like just instead of individual instruments and then mixing it like all just in one room?
Yeah, one of my favorite bands called the Dirty Nil. They're from Canada. They record a lot of their stuff like that, where they track everything at the same time in the same room and let the bleeding and stuff get into the mix, and then they go back and do the vocals later. And those recordings always, like, to me, have sounded way better than bands like, you know, tracking the drums first, then the guitar.
I think one or two of the Iron Maiden albums were like that too.
Yeah.
I don't know of many bands that do it, but yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, Dirty Nil is honestly like one of my like top 10 bands of all time. They're a newer band. They just put out a new album called Master Volume. If you haven't heard it, you gotta like hear it. It's one of the best like rock albums that's come out in like the last like 10-20 years, in my opinion, from like a younger band anyways.
Yeah, I'll check it out. It's cool.
Good group of dudes.
I like the rock and roll.
I like a lot of different kinds of music. From working at the record store, I've just expanded my palette more than ever.
Like what's something else that's maybe unorthodox that you listen to?
Man, let me think. I really like Charles Bradley. If you've ever heard of Charles Bradley, he's like soul, funk.
Oh yeah, it's like a Barry White or like.
Yeah, kind of like a James Brown.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I really dig his stuff. He put out 3 records before he passed away. I think last year before that, and he's gonna posthumously, whatever the word is, releases another one this year.
I haven't gotten into funk and soul as much as I should have, probably.
It's really great music. I mean, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of like, even in like his voice, you can hear it. Like him singing about the stuff he sings about, you can really hear like the emotion and the pain that he's like singing. I mean, even in the pictures, like right here, you could just see like he's a very emotional dude when he's playing.
Do you listen to Gore Grind?
I don't actually.
Good. That's a good thing. That's
Somehow
a good
that
thing.
sounds like it would double feature.
Okay,
Dungeon.
so it's
Yeah.
it's music that's like terrible on purpose, but there's an entire like following behind it. So they'll just they'll literally just make shit up on stage. Like, you ever heard of like Anal Cunt?
Oh yeah, I've heard of Anal Cunt.
Yeah, it's like that. There's a whole bunch of bands like that. They just get up on stage and they just improvise and just slam on their instruments and make a bunch of shitty noise.
I'm not posting any of these
There was a
pictures
scene
of
like
gore
that
grind.
in They're noise bands.
Have you guys seen that thing on YouTube? It's called like Shitty Flute.
No.
So it's basically like, I don't know how they do it, but they like shitty flute like songs. Like, so they take they have like the backing track, but then like the singing part is like with a shitty flute. Like, here, I'll like I don't know if you'll get like.
Is it like that
copyright strike.
guy that did a clarinet cover of Through the Fire and Flames? Oh, okay.
Like when you said like shitty like improvised music, that's what it made me think of.
It's
yeah.
like when people play CS:GO and they just spam shit like that.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking. Why do you have Snoop Dogg?
Playing the flute.
All right, so
Oh, smoke flutes
Addalemon.
every
Where does
day.
the name Addalemon? Where does that come from?
Well, it's kind of like a secret thing.
Oh shit!
It's like it's a long kept secret that I don't know. We're kind of trying to if someone figures it out and like eventually like posts about like where it comes from, then like we'll kind of like say it. But it's just a name, you know. It's just a name that sounds good. It's got a good ring to it.
I thought it was a play on when life gives you lemons. You can add a lemon to make it worse.
That's a good one. There's people have read into it so many different ways, and it's kind of cool to just hear everyone's way of like their renditions of it. So we kind of just like whatever at the time someone says it is, that's the what it is. Like the Pokemon, like it's totally could be a Pokemon. I could see it being a Pokemon at some point.
Addalemon.
So Nintendo, if you're listening, hit me up. I'll be down to sell the name rights over.
Oh, they'll never use it if they have
When
to
you
give
pull it up on the
money.
Pokédex, it just plays one of your songs in like 8-bit.
Yeah.
You have
It's like
to deny you made it and say, actually, I stole it from Shigeru Miyamoto and they should sue me. And then they're like, oh, yeah. Nintendo loves suing people. Do that.
Yeah, they got a long record of suing all that.
No, like if you post a video of yourself like playing a Nintendo game on YouTube, they'll just send you an email and immediately take it down and be like, "Hey, you owe us 50% of whatever you make."
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I remember I don't know what YouTuber was like playing games, but he had a whole bunch of like Smash Bros videos, or I forget what was it, Smash Bros or like Super Mario Party videos, and they had to take them down.
No, it's like it's an automated system because I literally had like 2 subscribers and I just posted a video and they just took it down and sent me an email.
Really?
It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like what's killing Nintendo, honestly, is that whole not letting people play their games and like
Greed.
stream them. Yeah.
They're doing
Seriously.
fine.
They have so
Switch is
much
selling-
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if they just stopped selling anything and just stopped, like they would still like have billions of dollars for like 100 years or something like that.
I think they have like a vague 50-year plan as a company.
Oh, for sure.
No, they got enough money. Yeah.
No, it's not just about making money for them. It's about having their children having something meaningful to do, Sending this company along, this beautiful mission
I think it's
forward.
about having money. I think that's what it's about.
I mean, 2 things. You gotta have a good life, you gotta make money, you gotta have a good life doing stuff you love.
That's true.
This is what I believe about Nintendo, and my sources are my butt.
So what separates a giant corporation like Nintendo from like a giant corporation that someone would consider evil, like Apple or something?
They have Pikachu, and the other one doesn't.
All right, there
I don't
you go.
think
Okay.
Apple's evil either. I think they're just a big company, and that means like they do big things
Okay,
which have
but
weird
people-
hurty effects. You know.
But why don't people
That just-
shit on Nintendo? Why does everyone like praise Nintendo?
Oh, they do. People shit
I think
on Nintendo.
people do. You just don't really hear about it.
Because they snuff it out.
yeah, most likely.
Holy shit!
They have good PR. You know. That's what that comes down to.
All right, makes
Like
sense.
how good is your PR versus how shitty a thing you're doing, and different companies balance it out as different amounts. So like Apple is relatively not shitty. They're sort of on par with all the other
Relatively
companies that are
not
that
shitty.
big. Yeah.
Removes headphone jack.
Oh
from
god, I
the
do hate
phones.
that. That did
Yeah.
cause me like Bailey consternation. So
All right.
Did you see?
Okay, go
Did
ahead.
you guys
Worst
see the-
thing Apple's done, Cam.
What's the worst thing Apple's done?
To you personally.
Oh, to me personally? They fucked me over pretty hard. Probably the fact that when they took out like the headphone jack. Wait, was it the head? I just want to say the headphone jack in general, but
Headphone jack is bullshit.
that was I mean, fuck, man. I have like hella nice headphones like that are just like wasted now, and you gotta have this dongle thing. Like you gotta carry around that extra
Didn't they bring
attachment.
the headphone jack back in the new ones?
I don't know if they did, but if they did, I was gonna be so pissed.
Well, they don't have to listen to people because they'll still buy their products no matter
Pretty
what they do.
much.
No matter what they do.
I think the shittiest thing that they've done. Oh, here. This is the shittiest thing they've done. So they have that little dongle thing that you have to buy now for the iPhone. So I went on Amazon and I bought one that said that was really cheap, and it said Apple certified, like it was an official one. So I buy it. Yeah, that little dongle thing. You know how much that dongle thing is? It's like
30
$10,
bucks?
like $15.
Oh,
yeah,
is
it's
it, that's
expensive.
it? Okay.
I think 10, 15. I think it was like 10, 15 bucks at the time. So I sit there and I wait for it to come, and I plug it in my phone. And it's working for like 5 minutes, and then it says on my phone, "This is not a certified Apple product." And
It sounds like you got
and then I got scammed. So then, like, I go to the Apple store, and it looks damn near similar to the one that's in that picture. Like maybe like the plastic's like a different kind of plastic, but it looks damn near similar. And then you go to like the Apple store, and like, oh yeah, you have to buy it officially from us, like from Apple. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me.
fuck.
Yeah.
So we're
Was it-
gonna get a sponsorship from Apple. We're gonna put a sign for them that says Apple will fuck you harder than anyone can, and they'll give us money.
Perfect.
Hey. Any publicity is good publicity.
I'm Steve Jobs ghost, and I endorse this message. I hate everybody. Everybody can suck my dick.
Well, he got fired because he was such an asshole, and then they brought him back. No, that actually happened though. Like,
Yeah.
he got fired from his own company.
It's
Have you seen that video of a guy who puts a headphone jack back on the iPhone?
Oh, he like solders it in or something.
Yeah, he literally drilled a hole, and when he took apart the phone, he showed in the video that literally the space where they could put a headphone jack was empty, and they could have put a headphone jack, but they didn't.
Oh, that I can believe it. I'll believe it.
Yeah, and he put it back in, and oh my god, I was totally blown away. I was like, dude, let me just send my phone in.
Yeah,
Get that done.
That'd be a good way to make a living. Just make iPhone mods.
Yeah.
how many could you do an hour?
Probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
If you got good
If
at
you
it.
really got it down.
And how much could you charge for it?
Probably $50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if
wouldn't-
you did, like a really good job and it looked nice. $50, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could
So,
put it down to $40 sometimes when sales are slow.
Yeah.
what? What's with the beaver? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Is it the eager? Is that the eager beaver? Okay.
The beaver,
Eager
is saying,
beaver.
damn you.
All right. Do you have any? Do you have any shows you want to like shill that are coming up? Do you play live shows?
We do. We have. We're playing at my. We're supposed to be. I'm supposed to be hearing back from them in a couple days. We're playing at the Battle of the Bands at my college, CSUMB. We're supposed to do that, and then we're looking for a show October 27th. If you're listening in the Monterey Bay, Santa Cruz, California area, we need a show. House show, backyard, something. So if you got something for us, hit me up on Instagram, DM us.
That's sweet. I wish I lived even remotely near you. Then I would totally.
Wait, where are you guys from?
Or Phoenix.
Phoenix.
And Sai's in Virginia?
Virginia.
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Regular
West Virginia!
Mama.
Country homes. We have interstates here. We have the government.
So
Arby's. We have the.
Oh, hey.
Virginia. We have the governments.
Being from Phoenix, do you guys like AJJ? Do you know who that
I
is?
fucking like AJJ.
AJJ.
Andrew Jackson Jihad.
But they changed their name because they didn't like that name.
Yeah. They're from Phoenix. That's the only reason I say.
Oh, that's cool. If you like, let me know when you post about
I
your
have two of
shows.
their
I'll put it on
albums
my
on vinyl.
Facebook page, on the Eager Electronics page,
Oh, for sure.
or like whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know how many people we have following
yeah.
us that are around you, but
It's a funny story how I found about you guys was I was just scrolling through Facebook one day and then it suggested the boost pedal and I was like, oh, that pedal graphic looks super sick. And then I check you guys out and you guys are like hella dope. So I've been like following you ever since. So whenever you started paying for the boost pedal to be advertised, that's how long I've been following you guys.
that was a few months ago at least.
But yeah. It's pretty cool. Well, you guys do some pretty cool shit.
I'm trying, I'm trying.
You know, I was trying to into like doing my own pedals because I mean people build like clones of like the Klon that were pretty cool. The Centaur, I really love that pedal.
Oh yeah.
I have the what is it? The Electro Harmonix Soul Food right now. That's like basically like a ripoff of it, which is pretty cool.
That's a nice one. I'm working on.
I've been trying to get more.
The ones I have now, and I'm working on a chorus and a delay right now.
Oh, nice.
It's a
How
lot
are you
of work.
making the chorus work?
What?
What's the idea behind the chorus?
So it's very similar to a delay.
No, I mean I know what a chorus is, but sorry.
No, I'm saying the way I build it. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. How are you approaching it?
Okay.
as,
So
like,
yeah,
your
okay, it's
pedal?
very similar to delay, and it's almost the same circuit, but the delay is so short, and then you like detune it slightly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. Yeah, so it's almost the same thing. So it's like I can design them both at the same time because it's almost. And I'm using.
Is it going to be tape based? I thought you were doing a tape based thing.
So
for
it's
your
an
delay.
analog chip. It's called a BBD chip, and it has they don't really make them anymore. So I had to like find them and like have them shipped to me, and it took forever. But it's
Cool.
an analog chip that they just don't make anymore. It's like a
Cool.
yeah.
Do you base your schematics off of previous pedals?
Okay, so what I do is I'll find like 3 or 4 pedals that are similar to a pedal that I want to design, and I'll build all the circuits, and I'll figure out how they all work and how I want mine to sound, and then I'll make my own based off that.
Oh dang!
So it takes
like
it
it.
takes
Fucking hell yeah.
forever. It takes forever because I fail like 1,000 times.
I think Thomas Edison said that.
Thomas Edison definitely said things.
Yeah, he said, it takes fucking forever because I failed like 1,000 times. I think that's a quote.
That's an exact quote from Thomas Edison.
Edison's
It sounds like
message.
one of those quotes that you see that says like, "Don't drop bombs, drop beats," and it says like Abraham Lincoln, like totally not real whatsoever.
Oh god. So you do the vocals and the guitars.
Yeah, I do. In the band I play guitar and sing, and then Steven is backup vocals and bass player, and then Billy does drums.
Wow. Okay.
So we're like a 3-piece power trio kind of thing.
Because I think on your
How do you
Bandcamp,
practice
on your
though?
Bandcamp it says there's only 2 members in your band. So wait.
No, it's only 2 members on this EP, is what it's.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Oh yeah. On the EP, it was just me and Steven at the time, and I played drums on the record because every time we go to record, we never had a drummer, so I kind of played drums on it.
That's cool. I mean,
It ended up working out, but
do you like playing the drums or the guitar better?
it's hard because with the guitar, you're writing the melody, and you got like so many options of like where the song could go, how fast it can go, and like this just the style of it. And then with like the drums, it's a whole other experience because you're feeling like the energy, and you're feeling the sound of the cymbals and the crash and like the groove. So usually for me, when I write a song, like I'll think of the drum part and I'll think of the guitar part like at the same time. Like everything will kind of all come together. It'll never be like I mean, sometimes I'll write a little riff first, like a little like melody, and then eventually like I'll get a drum beat going in my head, and then the song will like kind of like fall into place.
That sounds good. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Seems to work. It sounds like Sum 41 meets NoFX meets the Menzingers in a bedroom.
And that's what I'm.
That's
honestly what I'm trying to like bring back. You know, like I'm like I like some of the stuff that's on like the radio right now, but I'm more into like the '90s. Like for me, like the '90s was like the height of like punk rock music and like just alternative rock music in general. And I just kind of want to. It'd be cool to have that be like right now.
Hey, you know what we forgot?
It is right now.
What? It is.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we forgot. Welcome to the Eager Electronics Podcast. Wait, did I already say that?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Eager Electronics
I would-
Podcast.
In case you were now listening.
So I would hate to cut
You've
this
been
short.
listening to this podcast.
I would hate to cut this short. It's been about 42 minutes. But I have an appointment to get my tires changed on my car that I gotta get to.
Okay.
It's still
So,
short enough we could print it on an LP.
Yeah, you can still print this on an LP for sure.
So thank you for being our
many
guest
people
today.
would
It's
buy
been
it.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Please send me any links that you want to be on the podcast, like links to your band pages, whatever you have,
For sure.
and your shows.
I will.
I'll shill your band.
And I will show you guys. In your
Sweet, man.
pedals.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that.
Keep it up, dude.
Will do.
All right.
See you later, my guy.
I don't know if there's like outro music or anything. You want me to play an outro song on the? Yeah, I'll
Yes.
play you a song.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
I'll write a song right now.
Hell fucking yeah.
Fucking. Give me a sec. All right, what are we going for here? Are we going for like punk? Are we going for like metal?
Ska.
A good old fashioned
Ska?
song.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been listening to the podcast. You've been listening to the podcast. Now it's time to end the podcast. Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
Oh my
Thank you.
god.
That was the worst episode.